On March the 3rd, 2025, the Japanese government announced it would not attend the third meeting of states parties to the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, citing its reliance on the U.S. nuclear umbrella. So what is U.S. nuclear umbrella over Japan? It started during the Cold War. As the Cold War intensified and the Korean War and the Taiwan Strait crisis broke out, the United States attached more attention to Japan's strategic position. In 1960, the US and Japan signed the Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and Security between the United States and Japan. The United States formally promised to defend Japan's security, establishing the legal basis for extending its nuclear umbrella. However, the treaty in 1960 sparked large-scale protests and protests. People objected that the government relying entirely on American nuclear deterrence, which seriously undermined national sovereignty. In January 1965, Eisaku Sato, then Prime Minister of Japan, visited the United States. The US committed to support Japan in resisting any military threats, which explicitly proposed providing a nuclear umbrella over Japan for the first time. In 1976, the Diet of Japan completed the ratification of Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. Since then, Japan's dual identity, a now nuclear state, and an ally of the world's strongest nuclear power, the United States, has been established. In addition to Japan, the US nuclear umbrella also covers other areas in the world. In Europe, the US, the UK, and France provide a nuclear umbrella to nuclear-free NATO members. In the Asia-Pacific region, the United States has been providing a nuclear umbrella to South Korea since the Korean War ended in 1953. In Oceania, the US, Australia, and New Zealand signed the New Zealand and United States Pacific Security Treaty ANZUS in 1951, and the US started to provide the nuclear umbrella to Australia and New Zealand. However, in June 1987, New Zealand passed the Nuclear-Free Zone, Disarmament, and Arms Control Act. Since then, the ANZUS has disappeared in all but name. These days, Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshimasa Hayashi said that U.S. nuclear deterrence is crucial to the country's security, and that its participation would send the wrong message. Ironically, a nation's cornerstone of national security should rely on an alliance with another country. While characterizing itself as a victim of nuclear explosion and an advocate of a nuclear weapon-free world, not only does Japan now require nuclear disarmament in the U.S., but it also has been sitting comfortably under the U.S. nuclear umbrella, pursuing extended deterrence and seeking nuclear deterrence. While on the other side, President Trump doubted the Japan-US security treaty as unilateral, noting that Japan shoulders too little of the burden of its own security, while the United States carries too much. In response, Japan persistently explained the benefits of alliance to Trump. Knowing this, atomic bombing survivors and their supporters have criticized Japan's government for making a hollow promise while clinging to the U.S. nuclear umbrella. Huan Zheyu, a researcher of Renmin University of China, warned that the U.S. pretext of nuclear deterrence to end war is merely a cover for selective nuclear proliferation. The nuclear umbrella and nuclear sharing policies have significantly intensified international nuclear risks and severely undermined the non-proliferation regime. At the 10th Review Conference of the NPT in 2022, United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres stressed that collective peace and security are at a critical juncture and warned that nuclear risks have reached their highest level since the Cold War. Under the American nuclear umbrella, the so-called security assurance masks the insecurity of countries and hinders the global nuclear disarmament.